Your thyroid is kind of like your body's master switch for metabolism. But what happens when that switch gets stuck? In this explainer, we're not just going to look at the thyroid by itself. Nope. We're going to dig into the hidden connections from your gut all the way down to your cells that are the real root causes of thyroid problems. So let's start with a really powerful question. Is your body actually at war with your thyroid? I mean, for millions of people, that's not just a metaphor, it's reality. With autoimmune conditions like Hashimoto's or Graves' disease, the body's own defense system gets confused and literally launches an all-out attack on the thyroid gland, treating it like it's a dangerous invader. So here's our game plan. First, we'll look at what it really means for the thyroid to be under siege. Then we're going to uncover the cellular fire that's fueling this whole problem and see how our body fights back with its own antioxidant defenses. After that, we'll take a trip to the gut to understand its surprising role, and then we'll get into the essential building blocks for a healthy thyroid. Finally, we'll tie it all together. Okay, first stop, understanding what under siege really means. See, for most people with thyroid issues, the problem isn't that the gland itself just decided to break. The real issue is a case of mistaken identity, where the body's immune system, tragically, turns on its own team.
And what's so wild is how this one problem, autoimmunity, can have two totally opposite outcomes. Look at this. In Hashimoto's, the immune system is on a mission to destroy, slowly shutting the thyroid down. But in Graves' disease, it's like a hijacked rocket. The immune system slams its foot on the gas, forcing the thyroid into complete overdrive. It's the same war, just with totally different battle plans.
So what is fanning the flames of this autoimmune fire? To get to the bottom of that, we have to go deeper. I mean, way down, to the cellular level. We're talking about a huge driver of all this damage and chaos, a state called oxidative stress. The best way to think about oxidative stress is like a fire raging inside your cells. It's caused by a buildup of these unstable molecules called reactive oxygen species, or ROS. They're like tiny little embers flying around, just scorching everything they touch. This constant low-level damage keeps the immune system on red alert, and that creates the perfect storm for autoimmune issues to kick off and get worse. And this is where things get really tricky for the thyroid. Because to do its job, to make the hormones that run our entire body, it has to produce hydrogen peroxide, which is a powerful ROS. So the very act of working creates the sparks that can light that destructive fire. It's like a factory making essential goods, but the manufacturing process pollutes its own backyard. Thankfully, our bodies aren't defenseless. They have a built-in fire department, and the fire chief is this incredibly powerful antioxidant called glutathione. It's made from 3 simple amino acids, and its main job is to run around putting out those dangerous sparks, protecting the thyroid from its own messy but necessary work. Okay, so we can't just tell the thyroid to stop making those sparks. It has a job to do, right? But what we can do is make sure our internal fire department has all the tools it needs. And that's what this next part is all about, building up and activating our body's own antioxidant defenses. Building this glutathione shield is basically a 3-step process. First, you need the raw materials, the building blocks, amino acids like glycine and cysteine. Second, the body assembles those blocks into the shield itself. But here's the thing, a shield isn't much good if you can't lift it, right? That brings us to step 3, activation. The mineral selenium is like the on switch that powers up the whole system, letting that glutathione shield actually defend your cells. All right, so we've seen the battle happening at the cellular level. Now let's zoom out to a system that might seem totally random, but is actually a major headquarters for your immune system, your gut. Seriously, the link between your gut health and your thyroid is one of the most important pieces of this whole puzzle. And just how strong is that link? Well, according to research from Dr. Isabella Wentz, who is a leading expert on this, as many as 80% of people with Hashimoto's might have underlying gut infections. 80%! I mean, that's not a coincidence. That is a giant blinking sign pointing right at the gut. The problem here is something called leaky gut. I want you to picture your gut lining as a high-security wall, carefully checking IDs and controlling everything that gets into your body. Well, when that wall gets damaged, it gets leaky. Things that shouldn't get through, like undigested food and toxins, start sneaking into your bloodstream. Your immune system freaks out, sees them as invaders, and sounds the alarm. This creates this constant body-wide inflammation that just keeps pouring gasoline on the autoimmune fire. But here's the hopeful part. We can actually send in a repair crew to patch up that gate. Specific nutrients are like the construction materials. glutamine is the direct fuel for the gut cells themselves. NAC and glycine help build that glutathione fire extinguisher right there at the source of the problem. And probiotics? They're like calling in reinforcements, helping to bring back a healthy, balanced crew to guard the gate.
All right, so we've covered defense, we've covered repairs. But defense is only part of it. For the thyroid to even do its job in the first place, it needs a steady supply of raw materials to actually build the hormones that control, well, almost everything. Two key players are really important here, and they do totally different things. The amino acid tyrosine, think of it like the actual Lego bricks. It forms the physical structure of the thyroid hormone. But a pile of Legos doesn't build a spaceship. You need the instruction manual. That's where myo-inositol comes in. It acts like a messenger, making sure the thyroid gets the start building signal loud and clear. And this is where it gets really cool. The research shows that these nutrients are team players. As this quote points out, there's a powerful synergy. When you combine selenium, the activator for our antioxidant shield, with myo-inositol, the messenger for hormone production, you amplify their benefits. It's not just 1 + 1 = 2, it's more like 1 + 1 = 3. The combo can improve hormone function and help calm down that underlying inflammation.
Okay, it's time to zoom back out and put all these puzzle pieces together. Because what we're seeing here is that it's not about one single broken part. It's a whole cascade of interconnected problems. And that means the only way to really fix it is with a whole system approach. So a real comprehensive strategy has to hit every single one of these pillars. You have to quench the fire of oxidative stress. You have to seal the gate in the gut. You absolutely must provide the bricks and support the message for hormone production. And you can't forget the foundation, things like vitamin D, zinc, and iron that support the whole operation. And that's why this matters so much, because you can't fix the roof when the foundation is crumbling.
So all of this leaves us with a pretty big question, doesn't it? What if the future of real thyroid health isn't just found in a prescription bottle, but it's been hiding on our plates and in our lifestyle all along? By shifting our focus from the downstream symptoms to the upstream root causes, that fire in ourselves, the health of our gut, the nutrients we take in, we can stop just playing defense and actually start building a more resilient system from the ground up. Maybe the most powerful tool we have has been right here in front of us the entire time.